Welcome back. Let's take you over to the Central African Republic, where the National Police and MINUSCA have established advanced positions in the internal displaced persons camp in Bambari. This has enabled IDPs lodge timely complaints of crimes such as violence, sexual assault, theft, and murder.
Free and close to the population, these advanced police stations have facilitated the filing of complaints to fight against impunity.
Some of the complainants have received solutions following their complaints, and for others, the legal proceeding continues to follow the normal course.
The internally displaced persons have welcomed this initiative positively, and the number of complaints received by the Bambari police have increased sharply in the past 3 months.
One does not pay to lodge a complaint. Everything is free. If someone commits an act of violence, this situation encourages us to denounce it.
Violence, rape, theft, and even murder. There are many crimes in the IDP camps that host thousands of people driven from their villages by armed groups. Our mission is to carry out community policing. So in the different sites that surround the town of Bambari, we are in perfect harmony with the population, because the population, once in distress, once in front of danger, automatically resort to the police, and immediately we intervene. A hierarchical system is in place in the camps. It is often the coordinators of IDP sites who collect complaints and pass them on to the police. Then MINUSCA organizes awareness sessions in the camps to encourage the displaced to lodge a complaint. The establishment of advanced police station in Bambari has so far been a success. This means this initiative can be repeated in other prefectures.
The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has condemned the attack on the UN camp and the French Operation Barkhane's camp in Timbuktu, Mali. He says that attacks targeting peacekeepers may constitute war crimes under international law. Complex attack against the United Nations and French military camps occurred last Saturday, during which one peacekeeper from Burkina Faso was killed. 7 peacekeepers, 7 French soldiers and 2 Malian civilians were also injured in the attack. It was the largest attack on a UN Mali camp since the deployment of the peacekeeping mission, and the 3rd attack against the mission this month alone.
On Saturday, the Secretary General said...
The Secretary General recalled that attacks targeting peacekeepers may constitute war crimes under international law, and those trying to obstruct the peace process may be subject to sanctions. These acts will not deter the UN peacekeeping mission's determination to support the Malian people in their quest for peace and stability. The Secretary General conveyed his condolences to the government of Burkina Faso and the family and loved ones of the deceased peacekeeper, and wished a swift recovery to all those injured. He paid tribute to the courage of the men and women serving in the UN peacekeeping mission in Mali, as well as Malian and international forces who do so at great personal risk and sacrifice. He also called on the Malian authorities and the signatory armed groups to the peace agreement to spare no efforts in identifying the perpetrators of this attack so they can be brought to justice as swiftly as possible.
The Senior Special Advisor to the President on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa, says it's imperative for all Nigerians to stop seeing corruption as the norm and key into the efforts of the administration to free the nation from its hold. She was speaking with the South African Bureau Chief, Betty Dibia, in Johannesburg ahead of a meeting with representatives of the Nigerian community in the country. Honorable Dabiri-Erewa admits mistakes may have been made, but she says support is needed from every citizen and institution to right the wrongs of the past and set the country on the right path.
Who is fighting corruption, and some people are saying, well, don't fight corruption, let it go. But here, you have a situation where the people are embedded in the fact that, no, it's our money, you can't steal it that way. That is where President Buhari is taking us to. The fact that we need to tackle corruption. Look, I agree there are challenges. I agree as an administration, we have made some mistakes, we haven't gotten some things right, but basically, you know, we're just the 3rd year in office, you know. So as we move on, we need to to key into what the president is trying to make happen in Nigeria. First, the issue of corruption. Some will say, well, no high-profile case has been decided, but that is the fault of the judiciary. And then all of us too, by even accepting it as a norm. We cannot continue to accept corruption as a norm. If we do not, key into it now, it might be too late for us.
Over 900 artists displayed contemporary and modern art at the latest edition of the Art Paris Art Fair, an international annual event. One of them, Kenyan artist Evans Mbagwa, showed colorful portraits of dancers on canvas that later came alive through a performance.
The annual Art Paris Art Fair is a major event on the global art calendar. This year, it brought together 142 galleries from 73 countries at the Grand Palais, a large historical site and museum complex in the French capital. Among over 990 participating artists was Kenyan painter and photographer Evans Mbagwa. The artist's work was a clever use of color, light and patterns, capturing two dancers caught up in performance.
I create prints out of pictograms and signs around me, urban signs, which I create a motif that's on the background, and then I paint my portrait on these perspex using oil paint. And it's when I put these two materials together that there's this transparency, there's this light that comes in. The people who I paint tend to disappear into the background, and the background seems to be dressing up my people who are, dancing and in movement.
As part of Mbagwa's exhibition, the two dancers featured in his portrait jump off the walls in a choreographed performance. Mbagwa says he watched the dancers perform at separate events and was impressed by the fluidity of their movements. He then decided to bring them together and include them in his series.
I was very interested in their movement, in their body expression, how they used to, how they'd be communicating with the public. I got a lot of positive energy from what they were doing. It was very inspiring also for what I'm interested in as far as the other person is concerned. I'm always looking for what's most beautiful of the human being.
The structure of show was based on the story of the performance, dancers who have never met before coming together and how their movements eventually merge. Now in its 20th year, the four-day fair featured various forms of artistic expression, including video art and design. Organizers say they hope the event can help make contemporary art more accessible to a wider audience.
And that's it on Network Africa. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tumi Fagbemi.